You know, this Sunday in the church is traditionally referred to as Shepherd Sunday, and well, it should. We got John 10, Jesus, one of the number of places in John where he says, I am the good shepherd. And then, of course, we have beloved Psalm 23. But I tell you, as a preacher, it's not one of my favorite Sundays. Everybody loves Psalm 23, but it's a psalm that maybe it has gotten a bit limp from overuse, but maybe more importantly, it's a psalm in which it talks about the good shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd, and he makes me to lie down. He leads me beside still waters. He prepares. All the action is with God, the shepherd, and there's nothing for us there. What are we supposed to do with that? Jesus says here in John, I'm the good shepherd, and the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. I mean, maybe the problem is I'm a Methodist, and we Methodists are really big on doing and fulfilling our moral responsibilities. I know I was part of a recent survey of United Methodist asking them, what do you look for in a sermon? And the main response was, I want sermons that I can use in my daily life. I remember a layperson whining to me, you preachers are always telling us to get out there and do something, but you never give us anything specific about what we're supposed to do. Thus, Rick Warren says that you should come to church with a pencil and paper. And if it's a good sermon, you'll be able to write down 2 or 3 things that will, Rick says, form your action plan for the coming week. And I know you love sermons like that because, well, you like thinking of yourself as an active and resourceful, competent, caring, practical, busy, hands-on Christian. In fact, that's my image for Methodists on Sunday morning is we come to church with our notepads and pencils to get our assignments for the week. Okay, now, church, this week I want you to work on your racism and sexism, and come back next week, I'll give you another assignment. Of course, no wonder some of us leave church feeling more tired than when we got there, but Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. How come Jesus didn't say, I'm the great teacher. You are my brilliant, attentive students. And you kids, you students can do anything you put your mind to, study hard. Or how come he didn't say, I am the great do-gooder, and you are all my valuable assistant little do-gooders. So get out there, look busy. Or why didn't he say, I am the great CEO in the front office, and you are my second-level managers working out on the floor. Get busy. Know what he said to his disciples as he was preparing to leave them. I am the loving, searching, seeking, self-sacrificial shepherd. You are the wayward, inept, wandering, lost, totally dependent on me, bovidae, hollow-horned, avis aries, docile, dumb, domesticated sheep. Wow. When you think about this Shepherd Sunday and these shepherd passages, in an odd way, these are not as comforting as they first appear. In fact, they may be a kind of an assault on just about everything we believe about ourselves, an affront to how we enjoy thinking of ourselves. I'm a Methodist bishop, and Methodist bishops made for our quadrennial, that's in the real world, 4 years, emphasis. making disciples for the transformation of the world. And that was our emphasis for 4 years. But then one of the bishops said, maybe it's going to take us longer than 4 years to transform the entire world. So we made it our emphasis for 2 quadrennia, for 8 years. Then we decided also on the side to, quote, eradicate killer diseases in Africa. And we figured that couldn't take more than maybe 4 more years. The Episcopal bishops heard what we had done on the eradicating killer diseases in Africa, and they kind of one-upped us, and they said they were going to eradicate poverty in the entire world. And I don't know what their date on that is, but wow, you got to wonder there if maybe we've misunderstood. I know I made a vow to God that as a bishop, I wouldn't appoint any clergy to a church that I had not first heard that preacher preach a sermon. And I immediately regretted that vow, like a lot of vows I made to God. But anyway, this meant that every year I listened to about 170 sermons from various ones of my pastors who were moving. And many of the sermons were great. They were engaging. But a major thing I noticed in many of these sermons was that there didn't seem to be anything left for God to do in the sermon. There was no heavy lifting for Jesus. Most of the sermons were kind of moralistic, that is, prescriptions for human behavior. Okay, church, here's what you need to do this week. Write this down. Here's some ways that you can fine-tune your life. Not much God in the sermon. This is why some people have said that we in the American church are today in the grip of what has been called moralistic, therapeutic deism. Moralistic, that is, the Christian faith reduced in our hands becomes something that you are to do or be. Therapeutic, that is, the Christian faith is mainly a technique for getting something you want. Deism, that is, God created the world and then retired and left. And now it's up to us to do, or doing won't get done. That's really not the way it is in John's Gospel. In John's Gospel, the whole thing is focused on the Good Shepherd, on this one, this sovereign Lord who comes not simply to stand beside us, but to do for us what we could never do for ourselves. In John's Gospel, there's no Sermon on the Mount like you have in Matthew's Gospel. There's no golden rule. In John's Gospel, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. In Matthew's Gospel, Jesus says, you're the light of the world. And so John says, here's Jesus say, I am the good shepherd. You are the wandering, wayward, totally dependent on the shepherd sheep. How ludicrous it would have been for the good shepherd to say, I am the good shepherd. Now, I want you sheep to get organized, take matters in hand, turn the gospel into a technique for self-improvement, and make disciples for the transformation of the world and the eradication of killer diseases. Now, what he said was, I'm the good shepherd, and you are the beloved, the wayward sheep. And then Jesus really raises the bar on good shepherding when he says, the good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. If Jesus could have merely improved the sheep, or equipped the sheep, or enlightened the sheep, or taught the sheep how to save themselves by themselves, then he would never have had to say, the good shepherd not only loves the sheep, but lays down his life for the sheep. Herein is our deep comfort from the gospel. Here is one reason, surely, that everybody wants the 23rd Psalm read at a funeral. Because now that human striving and human contributions are over, wherein is our hope? Our hope is the Lord is my shepherd who makes and leads and prepares and guides. Back when I was a college chaplain, one dreary Monday I sat across from a young man who had made a terrible mistake under the influence of alcohol the weekend before. No less terrible because it was under the influence of alcohol. He candidly confessed to me his misdeeds. And then I, shocked at what he had done, I said to him, "Hey, what were you thinking?" And then this college student asked, rather impudently, "How long did you say you'd been a college chaplain?" 12 years, I said. "That long? Huh," he said. "I would have thought maybe you'd learned more about students in 12 years than you seem to have learned." And I maintained my composure and fought back my desire to strangle him to death. And then he said, "Hey, look, Reverend, if I'd been thinking, I wouldn't have done what I did, okay?" And I said, "That's a surprisingly intelligent observation coming from you." And then I spent another 30 minutes berating him for his behavior. And when I got finished with him, he said, "You know, situations like this, it just make you thank God." And I said, "In what way?" And he said, "Makes you just want to thank God that Jesus Christ only died for sinners." He got that right. Jesus Christ is not here to do a little moral tune-up on you, a little self-improvement. He's here to be the good shepherd, to lead you in places you would have never gone by yourself, to guide you, to stand with you, to defend you when you can't defend yourself, ultimately to die for the sheep, the dumb, wayward sheep. Who is God? God, our scripture says, is the good shepherd who lays down his life only for stupid, wandering sheep. All that the dumb, wandering, wayward sheep know for sure is the Lord is my shepherd. He makes me lie down. He leads me. He comforts me. He prepares a table, anoints me, follows me with goodness and mercy. Oh, church, we're not God's assistants. We are not the hands and the feet of Christ. No, this is a Sunday we admit we're sheep, helpless, needy, wayward sheep. Thank God we've got a really good shepherd.